Welcome to What's Up Wednesday, everybody. This week, I want to cover a topic that we put a poll out on LinkedIn and discuss kind of an issue or a topic that we threw out there. And if you don't follow our LinkedIn page for Intuitive Safety Solutions, click on it, follow us. Be great. We'd love to have you follow. What's Up Wednesdays are found there, along with lots of different resources and tools. We're very active on LinkedIn, in addition to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But we all know that LinkedIn is kind of the business platform for social media. So anyways, the topic of the poll was, how many of you have worked for a third-party safety consulting or staffing company? And if so, share your experience with us. And we really received a lot of comments. And as I reviewed those comments, it got me thinking a little bit about why we started Intuitive Safety Solutions originally. And I think, I did respond to a lot of the comments, but wanted to share some ideas around some of the experiences people have had. Now, I often look at our industry and I realize that a lot of companies don't treat people well. There's this persona within the safety consulting and staffing sector that companies are body shops. They basically go out and find an available person. They throw their resume at somebody, they charge that client per hour worked, and they pay the employee, oftentimes not even an employee, a 1099 independent contractor, which in most cases is not even legal. But either way, there are vast differences in the experiences that people have had and kind of their feelings around safety companies. And I hate to say it, but I think that that persona or stereotype of a lot of safety companies out there is earned. And I'm not going to say anything positive or negative about anybody in the market. I could tell you that there are companies in our space who are doing $50+ million a year, and there are probably thousands of mom and pop type of consulting firms that have between 1 and 10 people working for them out in the field. So, if you're looking for work, I'd like to encourage you to have the confidence that there are good safety companies out there. I know that we're one of the best because we put a lot of effort into that. And it starts for us with respect. And regardless of how somebody treats us or what they do, we're always going to respect every person we interact with. Now, if we have a bad experience with somebody, we just won't work with them again. That's kind of the way I think that it should be handled, but we still maintain that level of respect. And I think that everybody out there deserves to be respected. They deserve to get what they're told they're going to get at the beginning of employment. And I know that that is a point of contention with a lot of people, is that they're promised a bunch of things and then the company they go to work for doesn't follow through. So what I would encourage everybody to do is negotiate the deal, pay rate, per diem rate, MOB, DEMOB circumstances, any caveats to those. So for instance, if somebody leaves without notice, they quit, they take another job, oftentimes DEMOB would end up being on that person. But ultimately, take a look at what the deal is. And oftentimes, hopefully, the employer, the safety company, sends some kind of an employment agreement or offer letter that kind of lays out all the criteria and all the expectations that were set as far as compensation and any kind of benefits. So make sure you have that in writing. And what I find oftentimes is that when we send offer letters out to people, an employment agreement, terms and conditions, they don't even review them. And I mean, that's 101 employment. You definitely want to review your offer letter and the terms and conditions before you just go and sign it and return it. So make sure that you have a good deal. Like I always say, look at somebody in the eye and shake in their hand. That means a lot. But always follow it up with a piece of paper. And it's sad that we have to do that, but that's just smart business. And I think that we should all adopt that practice and make it our own practice, no matter where we go or what we do. Now, as far as picking a company, we do a lot of due diligence around vetting people. And I would say that probably the most powerful tool that we have to find out whether somebody's going to be a fit for us is by contacting somebody who they've worked for in the past who we know. Now, the safety community is a small world, And the reality is when somebody sends us a resume with 40 employers on it, there's a pretty good probability they've worked for somebody who we know. And it's nice to call that person and ask them, you know, a little bit of background, and whether you're an employer or you're a job seeker, I think that that's a very valuable tool. And I think the same thing goes for job seekers is do your research on the employer. Find out if you know anybody, put a note out on LinkedIn. Hey, has anybody worked for such and such company? And then private message me and tell me how they treat their employees. I think it's really, really important that you do your research to make sure you're going to work for somebody who's good. Now, I know that in our industry, safety companies are often looked at as this is a job. This, you know, I've got an opportunity to go to work for this company for 3 months or for 6 months. And after that, who knows where I'm going. And I've said this in the past, but I encourage people to look for an employer and stick with that employer. So if that employer has work, do that 3 to 6 month job and then do the next job with them and the next job and the next job. We have employees who've been with us for more than 10 years in the field. And I think that we take pretty good care of our employees and we put a lot of effort into doing that. And again, we respect our people. And I think they recognize that, especially when they leave, go to work for somebody else and realize how different the experience was here, they come back. So again, you know, do your diligence, find out a little bit about the company you're going to work for, make sure you have a good employment agreement and that all the terms and conditions that you discussed are outlined in the agreement, and set that relationship up to succeed. It's so important that we do it as the employer, and it's so critically important that employees who are taking the job do the same thing, because ultimately it is your livelihood, and your experience is going to be either great or it's not going to be very good. But you know, you have some control over that by the due diligence you do up front. So hopefully you find that helpful, and we'll see you next Wednesday.